Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Teri at Holding Your Space, and today we have Sun Psychic Jean.
Hi, everybody. How are
Oh,
you
I'm so
doing?
glad you're
Thanks for
here.
thanks for having me, Terry. It's so nice to be together.
Yeah, it really is, and it's so. Thank you for being here. Here we go, people. Yeah, I think last time I was either sick or no, you had a schedule. You had a scheduling conflict, so we changed this. And now I came in late, you guys, because I was just on another show. I thought it was at 2. So I apologize that we're running late. It's my fault entirely.
I think it's spirit time. Everything happens when and how it's supposed to happen. It's important to go with the flow. And I think dates and times have been a little fluid. I know
Yeah.
that, trying to figure out, I think the Crone Zone and I mean, how long have we been doing the Crone Zone? And I have been doing shows forever. But something happened with the time zones that we got crossed and then we fixed it. But I didn't know one of us fixed it, the other one didn't fix it. But so times and dates are a little harder to pin down, I think.
They are, aren't they? Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a lot harder to pin down. I don't know if it's just me because I've got a pitter patter brain sometimes, but I have been trying to like I've got my calendar now that I'm really good about, but today I wasn't. So when I rescheduled, I wasn't so good. But it is kind of hard to watch that timing. And I even overslept this week, which I've never done for my
Oh,
meditation group.
wow.
Yeah, and I mean, I got up in time, but I rescheduled it for 20 minutes later because I was just like, you know, I want to come in and just be in the right place.
Of
And I feel
course.
like we're all kind of called to do that, to be in the right place for whatever that means for us. Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, I we're doing tomorrow is the winter solstice, and I love your winter scene in the background. I don't know if anybody can see that, but it's really beautiful with all those lavenders, and there is this quiet stillness around the northern hemisphere, at least, that is really necessary for a lot of us to slow down and quiet down and be still. And this is a really a beautiful nature reminding us of what is important, to have this balance of the winter solstice and the summer solstice, the yin and the yang and everything in between. And I love the photo in the background. I love the colors. And I feel like it's just a gentle reminder for all of us. And I love that you overslept. I mean, not that you did, but that you needed that extra time of hibernation, that the nights are longer, and I think the winter solstice or Yule actually starts today. It's the 21st, and 22nd, right? It's like goes through all 3 days. But these long winter nights are something to really embrace and hold. Uh, and have a special ceremony or a special reverence to hold them in a place of uh, contemplation, if nothing else. To really consider what happens.
Yeah, I love that you said that. It is a time of quiet contemplation, isn't it? Kind of going within, perfect timing, being gentle with ourselves and soft with ourselves. Gina says, need a lot of hibernation, been oversleeping for a week.
Oh,
And good for you, Gina, that you're allowing yourself to do that. Craig, I'm not sure that we're going to take any questions. I'll star it in case we do, but I think we're kind of just chatting today about this. But I do believe that having that, allowing ourselves that time to give ourselves the gift of solace with solstice right now
yes.
is huge. And Spirit keeps telling me to do that. And the last time they did that was right before the pandemic. And I'm not saying that we're going to have another pandemic. I just feel like we might have some weather, and that there's going to be some opportunities that we need to kind of be strong and be calm and get through it. So, yeah.
Rely on our resources. This is what we've all been working for, working towards, and practicing for. We are the ones we've been waiting for, and all of the answers are within us. And this is why I know that I'm being prepared for this moment and this time, that we need to rely on our individual spiritual guidance.
I love that you said that. We are the ones that we've been waiting for, Jean. I mean, that's huge. It's like guru. You are you are you. So we really are our own gurus. And it's really interesting that everybody's kind of remembering who we are right now. Yeah, not getting locked in again. Nope. Randy says, I don't think so, Randy. I don't think it's going to be that. But I do feel like what's going to happen is we're going to be given the opportunity to stay within for a little bit. Either that's by weather or it could be by power. But, and that's going to be sporadic. That's not going to be all over. That's not what the guides show me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we are the ones that we've been waiting for. That's huge. Sometimes we kind of go into things and we think, oh, I'm going to ask my spirit guide. I'm going to ask my angel. I'm going to ask my ancestors. But I think we just have to ask ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And rely on our own guidance and the information that we get within and to, focus on that, the frequency and the vibration and the connection to the divine from within.
Yeah. Yeah. Randy says she's been stepping into her sovereignty. Yeah. Know thyself, Leah says. I love that, Leah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be an opportunity for things like this to, like, sometimes we read a book and we know the ending, or we start watching a movie and we know the ending. But I feel like everybody's really coming on leaps and bounds with their clairvoyance and clairsentience and whatever clairs, but your synchronicities as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that everybody's been doing a stellar job. And what does Andy Bear say?
Randy, out loud to the skies, saying our loud, I trust the guidance I am receiving. Love that. Love that, Annie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think, you guys, it's important to give yourself credit and to give yourself a pat on the back and to give yourself a, just gratitude for how far you've come and how much we've transversed this, all this time, and how much more prepared you are, and how much more community minded not more community minded, but how much more in connection with your community that you are. I think that a lot of people, we're here and together and aware, so that we can connect to each other and rely on that connection. I feel like there is an evolution and a change in the frequency and the time. I think I know there's no such thing as time, and it's only a human construct, but I think that there's, things change and the energy is different. It's almost like, and sometimes tragedies will mark this. Sometimes just a realization of a miracle can mark this, or something in our lives that changes something, that it'll never be that way again, and that we're moving forward, that we can see that the energies don't support the old system anymore, that the energies are urging us all to evolve and to move forward and to let go of what is no longer serving us, and to rely more on the new information and the new frequency and vibration that we're being led to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes great sense. We are creating a new world, and I think there are things that we see that we don't like, um, but we're watching it with interest. I mean, that witnessing awareness part, that if you're watching things happen, but you're not tied to the outcome, is huge, isn't it? Because if we say, "Oh, it can only be our way," then there's a us and them. There's a duality there, and we're moving into that non-duality. Deanne says, finding the balance in unbalanced things, people and places. The whole world is off balance. The earth is off its axis. Yeah, the axis. Pluto return energy will put the earth back on its axis. Yeah, and that was foretold how many years ago? Like Edgar Casey talked about that, the north and the south nodes flipping, and I think Nostradamus did too. And I'm not trying to do a conspiracy theory or anything like that. I think that's exactly what it is. It's not so much the north and south; it's the them and us. It's going to flip.
Mm-hmm.
So if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
there's certain points in history that things change, and things. What fascinates me, and it's so amazing that you put the images of the cats and the feminine pharaoh,
Yeah.
is what I saw on the thumbnail, because there is a point in time that is a mystery to me still, as to when the ETs, or the ET influence, or collaboration with humanity stopped and the pharaohs started. And what did they do with their memories? Like, did they just make them forget? I mean, it isn't there's not it, I don't know of a clear delineation between when the Hathors and the I don't remember the other species right now, but when they left
Was it? It starts with an A. The
was it Anunnaki?
Anunnaki.
But there was some off-planet beings that were working here on Earth in Egypt times, and then through history, it almost didn't. It didn't specify how they left and what started the pharaohs. I do know that we see pharaohs emulating the off-planet beings, and recording their memories or the stories of the off-planet beings, but I don't know what it was. Do you have any idea of what made them leave?
I can't remember what it was. I've heard a couple of different versions of that. One version, and it's kind of it goes around the world, because it also happened like with the Aztecs and the Incas and the Egyptians, is that we were misusing technology that they gave us. So, and in the misuse of that, they left. And then that technology and that power that was given to us, that only the upper crust got it, like the pharaohs, or we could say the billionaires of this time perhaps only got the technology. And certainly they do have some technology there. And the difference between what the slaves, or you could call them the serfs, or we could call it, the general public perhaps. And if you look at it in this time frame, it's not going to happen in this time frame, because we know what's going on. I mean, we're kind of very aware of what's happening with them coming in. Also, I think the church has a lot to do with that, don't you?
Rewriting the history?
Rewriting the history, and also hiding that well, that's part of rewriting, but hiding the part that had anything to do with the divine feminine being a part of Yeshua. Also, I'm sure they're aware of a lot of things that happened on the planet. My mom always said that the Vatican vaults would tell all if they were ever opened. So it'll be interesting to see if that ever happens.
Yeah. I do feel as though it's part of the truth that will be revealed at some point in time in the future. But Leah had mentioned at 2:59 or 1:59 your time, she said that I think it was the Incas that transcended. I think that it wasn't that they, but I think that, I don't know if it was the Aztecs and the Incas, but it was one of the indigenous tribes that
That's right.
vanished.
They did. I forgot about that. So maybe they went to fifth dimension. Yeah, they transcended. Leah, I hadn't thought of it that way. Yeah, Leah says, may I ask if the gods of old will awaken? I saw a ceremony. That's quite interesting. I do feel like it's okay. This is what they showed me. I think it's so exciting. So they showed me the Earth, the planet Earth, and then they showed me, which she's not messing around. I mean, she knows exactly what she's doing. We can't really hurt her because she'll knock us off, and she's done it before we can go too far. But also, the giants are awakening, and her ancestors are awakening. So, if planet Earth's ancestors are like have even more power than Gaia. It's just like it's phenomenal what's awakening right now. I think, Leah. What do you think?
And Annie Bear says that the Mayans were the ones who transcended. I knew it was an indigenous race or indigenous tribe that had transcended and reached enlightenment, and that's what the stories are that have been told, because there's no indication of them continuing on or dying or evolving past a certain point. It's like the evidence just stops, and there's no rhyme or reason other than that they ascended or transcended or ascended.
Interesting, Delphi. Violetta said they were taken to the other planet.
That is interesting. Wow.
Yeah. Interesting. That's really cool. Yeah, I do know that in the Vedic world, like in the Tibetan monasteries and the Hindu monasteries as well, that there is this method of walking out of this life, and it's just a thing that you go into a deep meditation and you walk out of your body. And it's said that if you walk out of your body in this meditation, you go into the new world knowing all. So you no longer have the ego that you're dealing with. You no longer have all this judgment that we're dealing with, or the gravity of it. So that's interesting. Very interesting.
Or the cycle of reincarnation.
Yeah. Exactly. Unless you want to, you can come back and help, which I think quite a few of us did.
That would be like an ascended master, yeah?
Yeah, it would be an ascended master. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Or an ascended priestess, or I don't know what a feminine way to say master, because it's I wouldn't say, I don't know what would be the equivalent of a master, because
I think you can say mistress if you want to. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It has a weird connotation, but who gave it that weird connotation?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Patricia Hernandez said she was in Mayan lifetimes. Interesting.
I was too, Patricia. I was a priestess. In the Mayan lifetime.
And yeah. I mentioned this to a couple of others, and if you have heard me say it before, please forgive me for reminding Teri, but I was doing an ancestor reading for somebody. We were doing like angels, ancestors, and spirit guide messages, and somebody said they wanted it was very pedestrian. It was very typical readings that we're doing. and somebody said they wanted messages from their ancestors. So we're going back, we're reaching back to get like a real wisdom type of a reading. And they said that that you already do know us, that that we are closer than you think. And they say you can find us in the eyes of your neighbor, in the eyes of your loved ones, in the eyes of your community around you. All of your ancestors are here right now. We're all here all at the same time. And I just thought that was so profound.
I remember that. I don't know if I was watching you or if we were on together, but because my brain uses a different part than memory to do readings. But I remember that, and I remember being floored by that. That is so profound, Jane. That's just
Yep.
incredible.
So I mean, and this is like the beauty of the reincarnation, but the that we're all one soul, that we're all one human, we're all one hive mind, so to speak. And sometimes that's a little bit of a difficult concept to understand, but we have a common vibration, a common goal. We have more in common, a common consciousness, a higher consciousness that we all share. And then we split out into these individual, energies and spirits and incarnations or expressions, but we're all together. And if I can also recall, somebody had asked me a question about the ant people. And they said, what can you tell us about the ant people? And, I'm like, okay, I'm open to anything. Let's see what spirit has to say. And first thing I heard was they say, we're not ant people, we're ant beings, because people is a human thing, so we're ant beings. So they asked me to get a message from the ant beings. And I heard that they were a hive mind, and I felt it. Like they made me feel what it felt like to be a hive mind. And they say we are individuals and express as individuals, but we are a hive mind. And I will never forget that as long as I live, because that's information that came from spirit. And it also gave me an indication and a feeling of what it might feel like to be of one consciousness of humanity, that we all express as individuals, yet we are all one. And I was so very grateful for that person and all of you for asking these types of questions that allow us to stretch and expand our awareness, because I've held on to that for so very long. It was interesting.
Wow. That is so beautiful. I love Eugene. I gotta say. Can I just say that? I think it's so beautiful. Annie says, they saved us the last time we tried to ascend this. I don't know if she's talking about the ant people, but yeah. Yeah, we have tried to ascend many times. They say this is the time. I do feel like there's gonna be a golden age coming up. And, oh, the ants. It was the ants, she's saying. Yeah. Yeah. I do feel like we're going into a golden age right now of science and humanity and the arts. And there might be some roughness before we get there.
Mm-hmm.
They held our consciousness. That's beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
But
felt a real resonance with them. I felt a part of them when I was bringing through that message,
that's so beautiful.
so that we would one day remember. Wow.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Maybe that's what this is. They call it an awakening, and and it's the great, remembering from this, the veil of forgetfulness that we agree to come when we come into this world. Maybe it is just an awareness and an awakening and a realization of what we're all here. I mean, we know this, but to have everybody know it at the same time would really change a lot of things.
It would, in the divisiveness, I mean, in so many different ways, in our politics and our racism and our sexuality, all of that, calling for that duality, like us and them. And really, when we realize that we are all together, it's huge, isn't it? And it's kind of hard to remember because we're each have our own personality. And I
Mm.
think, don't you think we kind of keep that personality?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Our
Yeah.
own individual expression, and that's our soul's vibration. And I find that, and the reason why, and you've probably experienced this too, Terry, is that when we have past life regressions, and or if we read somebody else's past life, they have a lot of the same characteristics or tendencies or, personality type. It's not the same circumstances, but you are who you are, and you always no matter what. And this is that soul's vibration that we express through different, incarnations.
Yeah. I love this, Lauren. Lauren's saying the largest change for this ascension is the waves of volunteers we had this time.
Mm.
Last time the volunteers all came at once. That way it did not work. Now we have 3 waves of volunteers. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We are we're in unison and we're all waking up a little faster, I think. I don't know about you guys, but like I just feel like it's exponential lately, the way the energy has been happening. And like we were talking about oversleeping or the timeline changing. Deanne says, my son is an ant people because he likes to be a giant watching ants. Sometimes I have to tell my son to stay out of the ant wars. He is protecting the little sugar ants from the large army ants. That's interesting. And I don't kill ants. I let them grow big mounds in my yard and stuff because I know they're aerating my yard and they're healthy. So interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah, and it brings us right back to that balance. And I think that as we evolve in our spiritual aspect and our human aspect, and it's just that the spiritual aspect and the human aspect, they're both evolving, yet we need to work in balance. And I feel like we're going to have this awakening, this remembering while we're still here in this incarnation, while we're still inhabiting a human body. And we have this awareness, this spiritual connection, and we're going to walk in balance with that so that anything that does not support the spiritual universal laws will be falling away. So anything that is based on greed, based on fear, based on manipulation, based on, anything like this is what's going to be falling away. And they say love is what will save us all, or what will make matter the most in the end. And it really is the one constant that we take from this incarnation, this existence, this awareness over to the other side. And there, yeah. And it's, it's real. That is one thing that's for real. Um, because a lot of things that we see, feel, sense, and understand, like our jobs, our car, our computers, a lot of this is an illusion that we've created. Yet, the love and the connections that we connect with other people and the love that we feel with other people and our pets is is for real and lasts forever. I think that's just profound.
Yeah.
Aw,
I love that.
aw.
Yeah, Leah. Right? Um, yeah, I feel like there'll be a time where there will be 2 different groups living on the planet. And I don't know what that's gonna look like for the country or the world, um, what that's gonna look like, but I think we will be able to coexist, kinda like the, Neanderthals and the, other humans. Jill says, some say the ETs who will eventually be among us will use hologram to show us our past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely, I love that, Jill. I feel like we're definitely like, we know that our hand's not real, that it's energy and motion, right? We know that all of this is energy and motion, but it's when we're here, it's such a dense planet. I was talking about Kim about this, and she said, Kim from Intuitive You, and she said she felt like Earth was like the Harvard of all the planets because you can incarnate here and have such huge spiritual growth because it is so dense and there are so many senses and whatnot that we go through. Yeah. Yeah.
And I wonder sometimes, and I have nothing to base it on, but okay, go ahead. What did she
Oh,
say?
I'm just watching what Sal said. She said she did cruel things as a kid a couple of times to ants.
Oh,
Pono didn't. Yeah, that's yeah.
yeah. But sometimes I wonder if this is the only incarnation and that all of the past and all of the history is just a belief system or a construct, to enable us to have a perspective in this incarnation. I mean, you never know it.
It's like the quantum field, right? I get that deep into it, and then I'm like, and it's omnipotent. I mean, it's everywhere. That I'm like, I just can't go any farther. My brain can't go any farther with it. But I love it. I love the idea of it that everything's happening at once, and there is no time or space. And I love black holes. They say that scientists say that if you were to go inside a black hole, the only thing you would see is light. And I love the idea of the black holes and the vortexes and vortices and all of that stuff. It's intriguing and exciting. And Leah says, we will be how we treat animals. Interesting, Leah. Let's look at another part of that because they talk about the Anunnaki and how they treated us like slaves. Well, how do we treat animals? Kind of like a slave, like the horses or the cows or whatnot, right?
Mm.
And they're probably going to be the next, who knows what the next species will be that inhabits this planet, and what it will look like. Will it be horses? Will it be cattle? I mean, right now it's the human species, and I'm just using that as a for instance. But it's unique because it all goes around, doesn't it?
Planet of the Apes.
Thank you. And I have a memory sometimes. I think about you're their slave, Sal, right? Ditto. My cat and my dog, anything they say, man. But I have a memory of being a fern.
Wow.
And it was like, and there was a time on this planet that a fern was the highest vibration.
Wow.
And it feels like heaven to be that fern and to know every cell of your body as you blow in the wind. Anyway, yeah.
I have had an experience, a couple of them, and one of them was I was doing a what I'm trying to remember what I call it. It's a past life reading, but it's a goes to the halls of knowledge. We go to the halls of knowledge, journey to the halls of knowledge. That's what we called it. And when you go through a corridor and there's doors on either side, and each door is a different lifetime or a different experience. And this person that I was, my client that I was doing the reading with, they opened the door and it was filled with all ferns and greenery. And it was so interesting. We were like, well, why are we here? What are we here to learn? What is this all about? And they said, we're on the planet that had ferns, that seeded the ferns here on Earth, that there's many different planets or star systems or places of existence where a lot of our, a lot of our environment came from, like the dinosaurs and the all these different elements to Earth were originated from a different planet. And this experience, this experiment, is to put this all together and see how it evolves and lives together. And I just thought that was really very interesting. I'd never considered that the individual plants, and it was very much like a greenery, and the whole planet, that's all it was. This whole planet was just filled with ferns and lush greenery, and it was so fabulous.
Okay. I've got a couple of different remarks for that, but the first one that came in was that's where all the vegans go. But
Mm.
but that's just a joke. But while you were saying that, Jean, I could see this green light behind you. I don't know about anybody else here, but I could see this beautiful green light. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, amazing. And it went outside the picture too. Outside your field. It was just huge. Yeah, everything on the planet has a signature, doesn't it, Leah? Definitely.
and it's a sentient being. It's a sentient being. And ferns have a collective energy or a collective consciousness, don't they? And they are themselves sentient. I mean, they're not individual expressions, but they're a collective, like the collective of trees. And you and I started that, Teri. Now everybody's doing trees, but you and I did that. It was so spontaneous. I loved it. And I think I did mention it to you the last time of when I was doing a sound bath ceremony and flower essence
Yes,
ceremony
I
to
love
connect
her.
to different flowers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I met, I was doing the ceremony and the sound bath was going on and I was connecting. And then my mind started to wander a little bit. And I'm like thinking, what am I going to make for lunch and stuff? And then all of a sudden, a presence. And you know how if you have your eyes closed or you're sleeping and somebody walks into the room, even though you don't hear them, you can feel a presence of somebody in the room with you. And I felt a presence that came up. And here it was the flower essence. And they came up and showed their connection to the creation of all and their natural creation. This flower, this plant essence, showed me who they were, the creation of nature, and they mirrored my soul and said, "You too are the creation of nature."
Wow. Oh my God.
Right?
I
And I'm
love
still
that.
sitting here today. I know. I mean,
Yeah.
mind blowing. I'm
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you guys, it's
Yeah. Jean is like, yeah, my hat's off to you,
I
girl.
actually don't know what one of those are. I don't know. I think that it was what is an oracle? Somebody who
A
channels?
seer.
Oh, a seer. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Seer. Yeah. It's like an oracle sees as I think the vision, but also the being. So it's
Okay.
yeah, it's huge. Um, Tian says, in God's house, it's beautiful and 100% pure love. There is anger, suffering, and pain. We are all just passing through until our time comes. Light workers are gods, spiritual healers, and helpers. 100% Deanne. We are creators, and I think we are awakening to that. And then we can create whatever we need. Like we can create a new life, we can create abundance. And that's our next step. People ask the oracle for wisdom. Wiki says, I love that. Sally says, Oracle of Delphi. Yeah. And Sonia says, my little place when I was on my own with baby, the cottage had ferns so big and beautiful, looked like a screen in a prehistoric dino time, like gigantic Boston ferns.
Wow.
Wow.
I think they
Yeah.
were there to protect you and to heal you and to sort of balance the vibration or the frequency around you. Sonia. So they everything happens for a reason, and it wasn't just the optical pleasure that you had when you looked at them. It was the I feel like they cleansed or purified the energy around you. I'm not sure where you were at that time, what part of the world
Yeah.
you were in.
Yeah. I'm not sure if she was on the in the United States. I was going to say on the planet Earth, but in the United States at the time. And I also feel like they reached out to you, like they could commune with you and the baby, which they do. They reach out. Scientists say now they know that ferns talk to each other. There's a communication. And when a tree is in danger of a parasite or something, then a message goes out and the correct plant grows that will heal it and kill off that parasite. Oh, you were only 17. It was like a place back in time. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Annie says they can tinker with time. I love that. Love that, Annie. Yeah. There's a lot going on right now. So we're all just kind of remembering, like, how much of this are we hearing today? And we're like, I've heard this before. I know this. And then we're going to be like, okay, got that, check. Moving on. Walking into that new life.
And it's all of our experiences. It's all of our connection. It's all of our, just, I mean, Sonia said it, and she said she felt it. And, it's, we can all think back to a time where we were like transported, or things were just, it seemed like time stood still. We all have these experiences, and each one of us is capable of connecting to that, that frequency, connecting to that, wonder of enchanting experiences. And especially all of us here. I mean, there's nothing against Wall Street, but I think that those people are so focused on those numbers and their job. And, it's really hard for them to sort of pop out of that and get into their, creative side, where all of us here are already in our creative side. All of us here are, oracles of our own, and we all have experiences and stories of our own. I wish we could compile a list of stories from each one of the community members to see, what it was in their life that made them consider that there's more to this world than just what meets the eye. It'd be a neat book to put together.
It would be really neat. I do feel like for a lot of us, I know for me, I'd been on the path for a long time, but the pandemic was like a and the death of my husband. So a lot of times it's a reset, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Twilight zone. And it could be even like an earth event, I mean, that would just, shift things, and
Yeah.
no pun intended, but, there's somebody, who was it? Kelly,
Barbaro?
forgive me. Yeah,
Mystic
it is.
Next
But what
Door?
is Mystic Next Door? I was trying to think of her name.
Yeah, I love her. She's wonderful.
Yeah, she's so sweet. And she came on the other day and said she had a dream. And this is not like her. This is not her typical MO. And you know how she like tells her story so gracefully and gently. And she said that she heard the name Santorini and she didn't know what it was. So she looked it up, and it's in Greece.
Mhm.
And she also dreamt of a, like a volcanic type of activity. And
Mhm.
she looked at Google Maps or something, and she saw that Santorini, or those islands, something around there has a I don't know what you call it. It's under the sea level volcano. It's called something. But go look
Oh,
at
yeah.
Kelly Mystic Next Door. She had a dream. It's only like a 5 or 9 minute little video. And she said, I just wanted to put it out there. And I was like captivated. I could feel the resonance of what she was talking about. And it just really rang true for me. And I think that Mark, the spirit whisperer, has been talking about underwater volcanic activity. And I think somebody else was talking about Indian Ocean volcanic activity.
Yeah.
But I mean, and it could be all, it could be none. And it's hard to be specific, but we're all picking up a little bit of like earth, changes, or, in a weather event or something, including all of this. And, or it could be something that one triggers another, So, but
100%.
it'll shift and enable us to start relying on each other and looking at each other as one,
Yeah. I'm I do feel like that's it. We were given the opportunity already to reach out hands to each other and take care of each other. And instead, we were also given the opportunity to divide again, which as by who I call agents of change. There's so many agents of change right now on the planet. And that we'll be given the opportunity again and again until we get it right. But they say that we really are getting it right this time. So Rush is saying a chain reaction. Yeah. When we do meditations, we almost always go into the tectonic plates now, because I do feel like they're really going through a shift. And that's part of that volcanic activity, but also earthquakes coming in, which is probably going to be tsunamis. So, I mean, all that can happen. It doesn't have to happen. Yeah. Oh, James Van Prague did 2025 predictions, talked about
Oh, that must have been
Indonesia.
where I heard it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you very much, you guys. And I don't know if anybody knows what one of those underwater volcanic spots are called. And, Kelly did her research before she came on and told us all this, but of course I don't remember what the name of it is. But it's not, it's like a concave volcano but it's underwater, but it's in those islands. And she looked at it and she saw it and she was showing it to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen those too. I've seen the holes in the ocean. I mean, they talk about that to me a lot. There's a hole in the ocean. And I think that's probably what they're talking about, because it does feel like something's going to happen.
And
Okay.
Tucker too. You're right, Aqua Dreaming.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, you
Yeah.
guys. You're so helpful. Yes, I do. I listen to her too. That's the other one. Yeah.
I like her a lot. Yeah. There's Jean Mayall. She's been on the channel before. She's amazing. She has a website and does predictions, and I think her accuracy is huge. Jean Caldera, I don't know who that is, but Jean Mayall is really good. Oh, somebody's saying the Bermuda Triangle submarine volcano. Sally. But that could be what it is. I don't know. Yeah, active. Yeah, I think so. When people talk about like just being ready, whether it's water or having some staples.
We'll need to hold space for others that are going through that. And perhaps, how we all said that the coastlines would change. And if something like that happened in one place and it would trigger something like that would happen in another place, we could have that kind of a seismic water activity, and it could affect the coastlines and that kind of thing. And we may need to be here to hold space, to hold the energy, and to hold, everybody calm and collected and things like this. Like, I don't think it's going to happen to each and every one of us.
I don't either. I think it'll be sporadic around the world. Okay, this Jennifer Lisa Vest is quite interesting too. I like her, Annie. She's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of her before, and people are always bringing me people, and I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah, interest. Everybody's got something really interesting coming up. Everybody has a story to tell. So you guys, you do too. And I love the idea of compiling things from everybody. Speaking of which, hello, Illumination Portal. Val, how are you?
Hi, Val.
Val's really busy right now. Getting ready for summer solstice, that too, winter solstice tomorrow.
They do happen at the same time, just on different hemispheres.
Thank you. That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
I try and remind myself of that, the longest day is occurring down under at the same time as the longest night is occurring here. And that's that balance again. And I don't know if you noticed, but the name of the show is Finding Balance. The summer and the winter solstice and the equinoxes. I mean, these are all just practices to get us into that balance. And it's a caldera. Yeah, that's the name of an underwater volcanic. Yeah, it's a caldera. You're right. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Janet. You saved me. You saved me, Janet. You guys, I tell you,
Yeah.
we would never be able to do this without all of you. So thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sharon, for being here. You're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, I just love this conversation. I feel like all sorts of new things are popping up everywhere right now, and it's really important that we balance ourselves and spend some time with ourselves, and just abide in how you're feeling. Like the more that we can abide in our heart space, and when things happen and look at like, well, how do I feel about that right now? And if you feel fear about something, it's okay. That's what kept us as a species through all these years, that fight or flight response. Just recognizing it and being curious about it completely changes your body structure of whether you're producing endorphins or what's it called? It starts with the C, cortisol. So,
Mm-hmm.
producing that instead, which leads to inflammation. So, just watching that, like, if you feel rage about something, if you're angry about something, watching that and seeing it. And rage is a sacred thing. We don't want to live there, but we certainly don't want to tap it down either, because then that does turn into disease. Cortisol. Thank you, Wiki. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Cece Angel is here, and it's 2:34. She said it was the death of her husband 9 months ago that put her on this path. And I'm so sorry for your loss, Cece Angel. And I do know that sometimes our loved ones will leave this world and impact us in such a profound way to enable us to be the one who awakens in this incarnation. And maybe when you two were in past lives together the last time, it was you who chose to leave and allow your loved one to awaken. But I'm so sorry it was through a tragedy, but it is oftentimes through a tragedy or something that is, life changing that sends us onto this pathway. But we really appreciate you being here, and I know a lot of people in this chat and otherwise understand where you're coming from and have had the similar experiences. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The
Mm-hmm.
reset. And then we have to abide in our bodies, don't we? We have to abide and find out what's going on. So if we kind of stay in that spot, that sweet spot of curiosity about what's going on the planet. And Cece, I'm sending you so much love. I'm a widow too, and Jill's here, and there's a lot of us here that are widows and widowers, lost our partners. And you know what? I am going to include people in that have broken up or divorced too, because I don't think that we can own it with the death either. More grief. Grief is grief. And it's like there's that ancient proverb about a pot of sorrow. And your pot of sorrow might be that you can't put your pool in the sunshine in the south of France. You have to plant it next to your um, olive trees, or it could be that someone that you love very much had to leave this life, and it's still a pot of sorrow that people have. So it weighs heavily on us, and not that anything relates to those two, but just giving peace to people and what they're feeling bad about. So understanding,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And I'm
and
glad that you found your way here. And I think that there is everything happens for a reason. And if it's difficult to understand and put into words, but there's a reason why you found your path. And uh, it's a brave thing for you to do, to let go of what was and move on to what the possibilities could be for you. And it's very brave to move into that unknown. But that's what we're built here to do, is to move forward and be brave. Um, yeah. Hmm.
yeah.
Delphi says, when I think about my husband, I talk to him and listen to music, and sometimes the music has the message. Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm catching up here. I love that, Delphi. It's important. And then sometimes we come in and we do something as a community. Like, if there's an earthquake or something, and look at what happened in the Carolinas, and look at how everybody came together, and nobody asked, who did you vote for in this election? Or what color are you, or what's your sexuality, or looked at anybody's skin. They went in and they helped. So it's huge that we do that for each other, and that's a time when I think our humanity comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our
Mm-hmm.
love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're given that opportunity. So
yeah, that's really cool. Well, are you participating in the Night of Lights, or the light for tomorrow? They're having the lights turn on with Marina and
Oh, I think I am. Whoops. Yeah, I'll have to call her. I didn't see the email about it. We talked about it though, so I'll talk to Marina today. I'll email her and
They
find out
had an
what's going
event
on.
a little while ago, and it's Shine Your Light. It's called Shine Your
Mhm.
Light, and 7 p.m. all across the world, that we're going to be turning on our porch lights, and it starts in the Eastern time zone, and it's starting at 6:30. And then we talk about it, and we're just here to support, to shine our light, to let everybody know that we're all here and we're supporting each other. And then they do it in the Central time zone, and they do it in the on and so on. And they have people all around the world, every time zone, to help us participate, because we have a lot of community members all around the world. And I think that's fabulous. And I'm not sure that they knew it was the solstice, but they chose to do it at this time. But I too have an event. And I wasn't able to participate in the Shine Your Light event. I have it's the solstice sound bath. Let me just pop this up.
Oh, how beautiful.
And I lost my mouse. Oh, what a great time for your mouse to go. Huh. I think I did.
Uh-oh. What time is it at? I can post it.
Let me see. If you don't mind, if I can just share that real quick.
Yeah.
You can, if you don't mind popping that up, it's down below.
Oh, sure.
And this is our Wings of Light. It's a solstice sound bath, and it's a meditation for your angelic connection. And it's really incredible. And this is also tomorrow night. So whichever one you choose to participate in is up to you. But it's Saturday, tomorrow night, December 21st, 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Eastern. And I will get a battery for my mouse and and put in the link for everybody. And it's also in my community tab and on my Facebook and everything. But it's Wings of Light, and it's tomorrow night, and it's a sound bath and meditation, a guided meditation, and it's a download from the Akashic Record Masters. It's really very I'm doing the facilitating, and I don't know what you would call that. Moderating. I'm doing the moderating. And Daphne will be doing the singing bowls, and Stacy will be doing the meditation, the guided meditation from the Akashic Records. So, but that's tomorrow night, and I'll put that link in as soon as I get a battery and be able to move my my mouse just died. But yeah, thank you.
I might be able to come over here and see if I can't find it. Yeah. I had forgotten all about that. So I'm doing a meditation at my yoga patch, and then I'm doing tomorrow, and then I'm also going to do one live. And then I'll do that too, I guess. Let's see. Go to community.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not finding it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, well, you already posted that. Sorry, everybody. Technology is not my favorite thing. There we go. Now I got it. Okay. Here we go. Got it. Dr. Gail on tomorrow. That's right. Yeah, I'll be with Dr. Gail tomorrow. So there it is. I found it and it's posted. So Sacred Key Codes. I love the name of it. I love everything about it. So, and I really love Daphne. I don't know the other, I met the other woman. What's her name again?
Stacy.
Stacy. I loved the way she spoke. I was on with her at a thing, and I think it was the last light up thing, whatever that's called. Yeah. Anyway, she was amazing. So yeah, it'll be exciting. Anything Daphne does, I love. So, and you.
Oh, thanks.
Love. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. And I'm sorry, everybody, I was late, and particularly you, Jean. I know you're always busy.
Oh my gosh, it was just a fascinating conversation, and I love the energy and your depth of knowledge and your just your willingness to go out there. And I really have a lot of fun having a conversation together with all of you. All of you here, it makes it so much more enjoyable because Teri and I would be like, "What's the name of that?"
I'm always like that. I pitter patter around a little bit, but I love being with you because you, our energy together. I just love Jean, so it's always a joy. It always makes everything go a little bit higher. Yeah, preem, George. Right. All right, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow, if not later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.